Welcome to One Stop News. I'm Michael Rommel. Today's February the 29th, and I'll be covering several stories today. Just a quick disclaimer, if anything I say about Trump, the United States, is changed by his address to Congress, I do apologize, but I'm recording this before that's happened, so I can't really adjust to it right now. But without further ado, let me begin. The lead story of today is that the lead critic of President Duterte in the Philippines, Senator Leila de Lima, has been arrested. She was arrested on drug charges and has been accused of laundering money as well. Now, this is likely politically motivated as Duterte has become more and more authoritarian as his rule has gone on. Upon surrendering to herself, she said, quote, "It is my honor to be imprisoned for the things I'm fighting for. They will not be able to silence me and stop me from fighting for the truth and justice and against the daily killings and repressions by the Duterte regime." She's been a key critic of the drug war since it started. Over 7,000 people have died in this vigilante program against drug users and drug sellers. Now, there's, like I said before, a lot of these indications are politically motivated, but she probably will get a fair trial just because of the amount of international attention that will be focused on the trial because of Duterte's reputation as being authoritarian and as being hard-handed with, especially with drug wars. But the broader picture on this is a little concerning, as if she's convicted, this gives Duterte a lot of free rein to silence his critics and to really hinder the opposition against him. So I hope she gets a fair trial at the very least, and I hope she's innocent of what she's accused of. And just a quick note on the drug war as well, it has been suspended for the time being, but it could be reinstated depending on the court's decision. So the second story today is on Mosul. So West Mosul is now being invaded by the coalition forces supported by U.S. and coalition airstrikes. Jihadists from the Islamic State have really dug themselves in Mosul. There are lots of IEDs, booby traps, car bombs. There's an average of 4 car bombs a day in Mosul. Now, this is actually down from 11 a day when they were attacking East Mosul. So it's a little bit less contentious, but it's still a hard fight. Jihadists are fighting for every inch of the city, and the assault has really slowed down in the past few days. Hundreds of casualties have been reported. The exact number of dead is not known and likely won't be known for a while, as clinics are still struggling to deal with people, and there were reports that the dead are being taken off of beds so that new casualties can get treatment. So it's a bad situation in Mosul right now, but it is progress being made against Islamic State, and it's the second biggest city they hold and will be a huge victory once the coalition forces manage to take it down. Now on to more positive news, although I guess the liberation of Mosul is positive in a way. So in France, Emmanuel Macron remains the leader in the election for France's presidency. Now, Marine Le Pen still trails in second, and there have actually been reports that Russian-linked propaganda is being used against Macron, accusing him of a lot of scandalous and immoral things. And whether there's any truth behind these is unknown, but it's still worth noting that it's happening. Francois Fillon, who has dropped way down in the polls since the scandal with his wife, is in even more trouble as a magistrate has cleared the way for him to be indicted on the charges. Now, indicted does not mean, he's arrested or guilty. It just means that charges are going to be brought against him. In Germany, Angela Merkel has received her official nomination to be chancellor again. This would be her 4th time being chancellor. She is facing a tricky election, though, as her center-right party is currently fractious and is still struggling to really coalesce behind her, mainly as a result of her immigration policy that let in over 1 million refugee seekers from Syria and other places like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other places in the Middle East. She's facing a significant challenge from the German Social Democrats, who are their center-left party, and they've nominated Martin Schulz, who is the former head of the European Parliament. Now, he's a strong candidate, and polls have suggested that the center-left Social Democrats are actually 1 point above Angela Merkel's Christian Social Party. So this is going to be an interesting election, but it's still early on and a lot can change. So I'll be giving updates as things change. And so finally, I'll be covering several stories on Trump. He's always in the news, so I'm just going to give a quick run through of what's been going on. Trump's proposed costs about the border wall are still being questioned. How he's going to pay for it, who's going to pay for it, are still up in the air at this point. Mexico has, however, responded, saying that if the United States does build the wall, they will respond with tariffs on the United States, which could lead to a full-blown trade war between the two countries. Now, whether they're just saying this to posture is unknown, and whether the wall will get built is unknown at this point. But it's still concerning that a trade war could happen between two neighboring countries. Second, the chaos around Lieutenant General Michael Flynn's resignation has settled down a little bit and news stories have moved on. However, there's still a lot of confusion and a lot of worry about possible links between the Trump administration and Russia. Now, a lot of this is alleged, and there's still a lot of circumstantial evidence around this. It's too early to really say what's going on with Russia. There's a lot of smoke, but there's no smoking gun that has yet to been found about it. Just a lot of circumstantial evidence. Now, I would just urge everyone who's watching this to just relax. This is a super serious thing that's going on. The president is currently under investigation for possible links to a hostile nation. Third, several news organizations last week were barred from a press gaggle, an informal press gaggle at the White House. This breaks precedent. Obama did do something similar, but not nearly as bad, and in different circumstances. He excluded Fox News from an even more informal event. However, a lot of news organizations protested Obama's exclusion of Fox, and they were eventually included. Trump, however, barred the New York Times, Politico, the BBC, The Guardian, and CNN. The Associated Press, Time, and USA boycotted the meeting as a result, while some other organizations did attend. Now, they condemned it after, including Fox News in particular, condemned this, and it was clearly not well liked by any of the press. Now, this is really problematic for press freedom and for the Trump administration's relations with the media and with the press, because the press is an incredibly important part of a democracy, and a free press is good at keeping a president in check and keeping the nation informed. Whether or not you think they do a good job, they're really important for it. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. The director of the Office of Management and Budget has actually come out with a preliminary budget today for the Trump administration. Now, it's an interesting budget. He's proposed a $50 billion plus increase to the military, and has cut programs like the Foreign Aid, and has proposed cuts to programs like the National Endowment for the Arts. Now, these programs comprise only a couple percent of the budget at best, being 2 to 3% at most. This $50 billion increase greatly outweighs the cuts that could be made to these programs, even if you were to slash the entirety of these programs. He has cut nothing of entitlements, nothing of Medicare, nothing of Medicaid, nothing of Social Security, and he's promised to leave those alone. The issue comes in with how will he pay for this increase to the military without increasing the budget. Congress has responded to this plan and is in complete disarray over it. Some Republicans want to see, like Senator McCain, want to see more spending for the military, while others are angry that there are no cuts to entitlements and want to slash the budget that way to bring it down to a balanced budget. It's going to be a long fight to get this budget done, and it's going to be a lot of chaos within the Republican Party about arguments of what to cut, if there's anything that needs to be raised, and how to do it. So we'll see what happens. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you again Sunday.